So this is last speaker of this year's conference. I asked him, because I know him already since I started to work in the Ruby community, and he's one of the most funny guys out here. Sorry, but I asked him, Adam, will be fine, fun today, and he said that there's this little line, thin line between fun and cringe. So we'll see. It depends. He's not a consultant, and that's actually the other thing I wanted to tell you, because whenever Adam is introducing a person, he's going into some personal story. I had a lot of stories about Adam since I joined the community, but I couldn't just pick one, so I did, as everybody does today, I asked ChatGPT, and it told me that Adam, I asked, how would you summarize Adam Piotrowski? And it said, well, it's a very prominent Ruby developer, very prominent person in the community. He's a sailor, CEO of 2NIT. But also, in 2019, at this very conference, he gave a lighting talk in which he gives a tip, very important one, for people like us. And it's how to get for free to the conference. You have to be sorry, now I forget the word. Damn it. Yeah. You have to volunteer. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Piotrowski, born entrepreneur.
Probably no. So I wanted to start that I always loved Wrocław for only having tech presentations, only meet, code samples, nice examples of new technologies or fancy technologies or new approaches. And Adam was about to give you one, but he's not there. He asked me to say cheers for all of you. And instead of that, here I am with my non-technical presentation. Being a little bit sad about that, but I hope you like it. So what this presentation is not about, I will probably not inspire you to, use some new technology. You will probably learn nothing from that if it comes to any technology, any coding related stuff, and so on. But I think all the speakers before me were great with providing their content, so you are full of new ideas and inspirations. But what I also don't want to do is make you sad about Monday, because tomorrow you go back to your shitty project and you won't be able to use any of those that you probably heard of during last days. Maybe one of those if your boss will be in the good mood, but you have 2 days and then forget about it. And to be honest, I realized that sometimes it's really like that. Like you hear a lot of great stories and you are like pumped up, inspired by them, but then you go back to your project and you are a little bit sad about it, how it looks like, how the organization looks like, how hard it is to enforce some new approaches and stuff like that. And it's easy to forget about the pros, about your work, your project, your team and stuff like that. Especially if you're Polish people, because we love to complain about how sad our projects and life are. Which is funny for me, because often when I see people complaining about a code base, they are maintaining it for, 5 years, and that's basically Git blame is saying that's their fault, but still, they complain. But maybe I will try to, by giving you some examples of really strange situations or just like pathologies and different fuck-ups, I will help you to be a little bit inspired about, okay, maybe my project could be improved if I will change a little bit of my approach. Maybe I will help you to remember that grass is always greener, where. Maybe, that's what I just was saying about, that your code is not so bad, or maybe there are some ways to improve it without complaining, just doing stuff. Maybe your team is cool, basically. They only sometimes annoys you, but you can do worse. Or maybe you'll help me to get some lessons from what we experienced, but we didn't thought what lesson is there. So that's the schedule. I think we will do like 70 percent of hashing, 20% of reflections, and 10 like realization, sadness of the universe and our lives. And I have one sentence that I live by lately, and I think most of the people from Eastern Poland are, that life is either bad or decent. So if it's decent, it's great. So if you realize that, it helps you a lot in your life and projects especially. So I'm the 2NIT CEO. I organize some events. I was a speaker on dozens of meetups, but never at the conference, so happy to be here, even though I'm just replacement. I love networking and hearing about other people's fuck-ups. I have some experience, but I'm not coding anymore, so that's also why this presentation is not technical. I am still involved in more than 70 projects. Some I was coder, then I was some leader, then I'm like more like managing stuff. And as CEO of the company that does a lot of team augmentations, I was involved in a lot of recruitment processes that me and my guys go through, and man, that shit is fucked up. I mean, the recruitment process in most I will talk about it later. So I'm not also so hype driven anymore, I think. So basically I'm no more ashamed, at least so much, of making mistakes until I learn on them, but I prefer to learn on other people's mistakes. So I'm really happy to talk about your mistakes or fuck-ups or whatever you encountered. Maybe I can learn on them or just modify my examples, because not all of them are really, they could be better. Like I know there are much more pathologies and fuck-ups in the industry that I encounter. Yeah, and I don't even own that t-shirt. It's not mine, it's Macho, because I forgot to take any t-shirt with me. I don't know, it's related to the fuck-up stories, but I wanted you to think in that I am 2NIT CEO, and I don't even own t-shirt to wear. Like, I'm to talk about business here, and I cannot afford t-shirts, so I hope that presentation would be good. Anyway, first case, fucking thief, Dominic C. If you want to give me his last name, I'm happy to, beside the scenes, because probably here he could sue me. But once we had projects, we still have it, where we had one developer, then 3 developers. The senior developer that was like Ruby tech leader there wanted to switch projects. So we needed to find new one. I mean, we had one to replace him, but the company that was our partner, because that was big pharma client. We were only hired them to our partner to be a Ruby team. The rest of the team was from our partner. So they figured out that they will hire someone from outside, and he will be the senior. So it's okay, but let me talk with him before he will start to work with our guys, so we can double check if like there is a vibe here and we can work together. And he was really cool. He knew his stuff. He was really communicative, and knowledge was on the proper level. So we were quite happy about that. But I did one thing that I love to do. I stalked him, like Googled him, checked his LinkedIn and stuff like that, and I saw he was working in one of the company of my friends. So I asked him why they are not working together anymore, and the answer was, well, we don't have proofs, but we assume that he was like doing few jobs at the same time, not doing as much as he claimed and stuff like that. So calmly and silently we say goodbye to him. So I was like, yeah, okay, should I go to my partner and tell them that I don't have any proofs? That's uncool to spreading these rumors and stuff like that. But I asked my guys to like be really aware of the possibility that there is something like that and communicate as soon as they will see that it's hard to communicate with him, the replies are long, waiting for code review is long and stuff like that. After 3 months, they communicated that it's really getting really worse and worse day by day. As soon as I was ready to contact my partner to tell him about it, he contacted me that they found out the same thing, and basically they fired him. About 1 week later, my other partners called us that they have project to inherit after some guy that was about to deliver the project 2 months ago, but he didn't manage. Basically, he did nothing. Maybe 2 or 3 commits, which we checked, and who was the owner of those commits? The same guy that was supposed to be working there as team leader for full time. So that was okay, that's quite clear. 2 weeks later we got another project that was quite simple. There was only some migration from one server to other. I don't remember the details, but basically I remember that there was some issue with admin users table, and there was basically 20 records there. So instead of fixing it, I decided to maybe delete them and add the only one actual admin that is existing now. And the last admin added there 2 weeks or 3 weeks earlier was, of course, Dominic C. So the same person doing 3 projects at once during the same time. Well, the 3 that I am aware of. So yeah, that's basically the story. Not so hashing yet, but I figure out the strangest things in IT lately is we don't use any referrals. Like, did you ever heard that someone is asking someone's, like, if anyone is hiring any developers, they're asking their current employers about referrals? Not often, because they are probably trying to steal the employee, especially 2 or 3 years ago. But I think we should do that. Why not? Like, if the employer is cool and employer is willing to switch the jobs, he will still do that. So employer probably should give good referrals if he's good. We should pay program more, especially at the beginning of the journey, as soon as we have any doubts if the new person is honest. We should be more transparent about those issues. But to be honest, I have a question for you. I don't know if I should tell my partner about what I knew from the beginning, or it wouldn't be cool. I'm really asking. Till today, I'm not sure if it would be cool. Because it's like rumor only. Yeah, I mean, now we work together for 7 years and we know each other better. I would do it immediately, but then it was like first few months of the work, so. But okay, I get it, it depends. Yeah, I mean, what are more, I mean, there is one more maybe thought instead of lesson. Please don't be that guy. It's so much easier to work with people when you can trust them, and that's it. Okay, let's move to maybe more funny parts. So, yeah, that's a cool definition. I love it because I believe it's the only proper definition right now, especially if you talk business with business people, and you, like, no one can define what senior is. Maybe he will deliver faster than me, or he have strong ownerships attributes and stuff like that. But yeah, let me give you that story. So there was and still is a big software house in Poland. They have no Ruby division, but at some point they identified that there was a strong market need for Ruby developers. So the idea was to start Ruby division, of course, without having any Ruby knowledge. So somehow they were recommended, we were recommended to help them start a new division. So me and Rafał, guy from like our current CTO, agreed to help them with interview. And we got 2 CVs that they picked for new Ruby tech lead for like few hundred people company. One of those guys had 1 year of experience, but also 2 years of experience with talking with developers. That was cool. And the second one was really ambitious, and basically everything was fine with her. But she had 3 years of experience in one person project. And that was it. Like, she was in the one project that she was running alone by herself, probably a few hundred users, that's it, few features or modules, and that's it. Infrastructure was like simple monolith and nothing fancy. So even though she knew much more than her usual 3 years or experienced person, like, the position that she was applying and having senior in her CV already, we basically at the end of the conversation, we asked her, okay, let's say Zofia, why are you senior already? Like, what happened there, when it happened, and how? Like, explain it to us because we don't know the definition. And she was working for well-known Polish Ruby company, names not needed. You will figure it out. So they had that strategy that if developer is like managing the project, sure, he is probably senior. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if you can charge for a senior, and you charge client 2 times more for a senior. So that's it. She was senior then. So that's my story about naming seniors, mid developers, and juniors, and I'm I'm not sure how exactly deal with it. But I think if it comes to business, I get it. It helps to communicate faster, and we are basically talking about the rate and if someone will deliver. But as a developers, when we talk with when we talk with ourselves, we should, you know, be a little more strict about what we are trying to say, like what means to be a senior in that particular context, what area of expertise we are talking about, because I believe there are areas of expertise. If I know we have really good people in our company that I am calling seniors, but if it will come to, I don't know, using Rails event store or doing some event sourcing coding, some of them didn't even have any experience with that, so I wouldn't call them like event sourcing seniors, even though I'm calling them seniors, not because of the rate. So yeah, I don't exactly know how to deal with it, but I really think that's a big problem of our industry right now, and maybe any of you have any thoughts about it? Not yet. Okay, cool. Okay, that was strange. So as a small company, we started with how most of the company starts, with one big client that was our only client for a few years, and he had a lot of issues. But at some point it was like we needed more developers to help him with his needs, then less, then more, then less, and of course we were struggling with it, finding some small projects to fill those gaps when he didn't have enough needs. But at some point he had like really a lot of different needs, and we couldn't deliver as soon as possible, and we communicated about that. So he decided to hire the second company with us, and okay, that was cool, great idea. You know, we can combine some ideas, exchange knowledge and stuff like that. But I asked and raised a few questions or doubts about how it will look like, how will we agree on deployment process, like the development process, code review process and stuff like that. And my client told me, I don't give a shit about it, handle it together or I fire both of you. That was mature and helpful. So we spoke, we agreed on some rules that they never followed. Like, for example, let's test our code. We didn't agree on rules like don't merge code that is with not resolved conflicts, so why they shouldn't. So there was some misunderstandings there, but we really hoped that they will follow like basic rules. So for 3 months there were no commits from them, nothing came up. And because there was a big insurance agency and their main business target were schools, so like 28th of August, by the way, thank you Norbert, now I know everything about months. They told us that, okay, so Mr., let's call him, I don't know, Radek, prepared the new module. Can you please take a look, because we talked about code review at the beginning, and give him some comments about what we do, or what should he do to make it happen on production. So we take a look on those, I don't know, 200 files per request, without any tests, of course. That branch was created 3 months before that review, so it wasn't updated to master at any point. So like most of the code was such outdated that there were so many conflicts that we were like, okay, when you want to have it on production? Of course, in 3 days. And we're like, okay, you should add tests, but you probably won't. We know that you will merge it anyway, so please at least fix those conflicts. That was Friday evening, and he got those comments. So he followed them by us. Later he told us he followed them by being on the party, opening GitHub IDE interface like 7 years ago. So he was at the party. On his cell phone, he opened it like GitHub IDE, removed all the configs that he found by scrolling all those few hundred files, and clicked merge, and it was deployed. And Christoph, my brother, is there. The guy from Bazooka with kids and stuff like that. So we spent fucking weekend trying to figure it out and fix it. Somehow it worked. And guess how many complaints client gave us for that, and if anything changed in that project and approach of client. Why you should? Sorry? Why didn't revert? Because I mean, we reverted it, but still had to deliver it till Monday, yeah? And he wasn't be able because, you know, the party was there and he was hungover. I don't know how it's related. In Białystok we mostly are called hangover, but okay, so my thoughts there, I had some thoughts there. So be assertive, that's for starters. I mean, the more we get paid, I think that rate have more of part that we are being paid for being assertive and knowing that some parts or some things we shouldn't do. And I think we shouldn't agree on working on that pull request at all. Like, we shouldn't touch it at all. We should let them drown and, I don't know, fire us, whatever. But that, I mean, you need to get more context about how many times they didn't pay us for the tasks that we delivered because, I don't know, they fired the person who asked us to deliver some feature or stuff like that. But that shit went too far, but we were still too attached to big client to be assertive enough. I think we also should propose them at the same beginning some other solutions, like then two different teams are working on their own without any communication. There were probably many different ways to do that, but we just agreed that we agree and that's it. We should move from that client much more quicker. Basically, until we had that client, I was really poor man, and the potatoes and onion was my main dish. But I love them, so. And I think we shouldn't agree on that, because even if in some cases, I believe if you won't agree on some approaches and they will explode, you will be the one that people will remember that, yeah, he told us so, that probably now he's the person to introduce the proper approach. But in that company, probably it wouldn't happen. And yeah, that as a CEO, I learned the hard way that you have to sign more agreements and have much more things on paper so we can basically sue people and get the money finally. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, the tools were fine. The problem was somewhere else. But yeah, I get you. Okay, yeah, then that's it. That's about cultural differences, I would say. So we had small project. One of our juniors were managing it, maintaining it, and maintaining was mostly related to fixing some broken production data because validation was broken too and stuff like that. Shit work, but you know, decent. And it's good if it's decent. So at some point, that client that was really short on money decided that he needs some savings, and there is only one way to make savings: move development to India. And I'm not trying to make any generalization. That's just that one case. Probably no one have other same experience that I have. So we called like meeting for project handover, and it was supposed to be maybe 1 hour for we explain and show everything, and maybe 1 hour for questions. So Łukasz was really stressed because it was like basically his first production commercial project. He was expecting, really technical questions and stuff like that. He prepared whole presentation. He presented it on the call with 6 people plus client. It spent 1 hour for that. He spent 1 hour, and then he asked if there are any questions. And it wasn't complex if it comes to code complexity, but it was complex if it comes to, I don't know, domain of why those data is so strange, or why you store it, and also those fixes are really repeatable. So if they could ask proper questions, they would probably have next 90% of issues solved already just by asking those questions now. And no one asked any question. So we asked them again if there are any questions. And then I reminded them and the client that you remember that the last time we have call, and then probably you won't call us because you don't want to pay us. So please ask your 6 people from India to ask us any technical questions, because that will be valuable for you. And he started to ask those people by name, if do you have any question? And every one of those people tell us exactly that. I'm not technical, but it will be recorded. So I think we lost those 2 hours of 8, 9 people. And I have no clue why we even had that call. And I think sometimes we should get agenda and whatever information about who we will speak with, because that matters apparently. Maybe I shouldn't blame the team. Maybe it's like cultural difference, that they don't ask questions. They got ordered to be there and listen, even though they don't understand anything, because the presentation was only about technical stuff. And maybe it's problem with me, because maybe I should organize it in better way, that we will ensure that people that are there are needed there, they understand their roles and stuff like that. Not sure who should do that in that particular case, but why not me or one of us? Or maybe we just sometimes need to accept that, okay, do it your way, that's my invoice, and see you later, maybe, or maybe not. And I think we should also be more clear about why we are on that meeting, and what you can expect from us and what I expect from you. And about meetings, I have that great saying. I don't know if you know it. Anyone? Because it's only the first part of the sentence. That's the whole sentence. Meetings are not so valuable, maybe. Maybe other thoughts about how to avoid it, or I don't know how to deal with that kind of situations. I can hear it later if you wish. Okay, another part of cultural differences. So we were involved in, I believe back then, the biggest cryptocurrency market in China. And they also had there is a lot of stories about that project. Also corruption involved, I believe, because there is no way that it would be up so long with so many fuck-ups. But let's focus on that one particular story, or 2 screenshots that I got from Slack at some moment from my guys. So they decided to hire some internal team on site to make some retry of not rewriting, but retrying to refactoring V2 of authentication module, something like that. And the person who was in charge, the CTO, was really busy, really smart guy, and was really caring about those guys who, he really quickly realized that why they are cheaper. So he was really caring about them documenting what they're doing and documenting their new API for authentication. And at some point I got that screen of 2 screens of Slack messages when he's talking on the general channel with those guys from new team about updating docs, DOCS. He was using docs in all the communication, and they were like, yes, of course, we will update it. yes, of course, we understand why it's important. And it was like the whole conversation back and forth when everything is clear and it will be done. And after those 2 screens, like maybe 2 days, I don't know how long it took, I don't remember, he asked one of them to send him the current version of the docs based on what they did during the last days. And the answer was, okay, fine, but what are those docs? So, I mean, communication is quite important, I believe. And I think, again, there was a big issue with understanding that some people won't tell you that they don't know. I think we have no issue with that, yeah? I don't understand it, it's your issue, you are not explaining it good enough, yeah? But in some cultures, maybe, or teams, the hierarchy is how it is, and you don't argue with your boss. He's saying that you have to update something, yeah, you will. You have no idea how, but you have to agree because, yeah, I don't know, he will cut your head or whatever. And I think as soon as we see that there are problems with communication, if we have someone in company that could try to deal with it or think about dealing with it, probably we should tell people about it sooner than later. But yeah, again, not too many lessons from that. Yeah, maybe someone had similar. Uh-huh. Oh, cool. Again, how it's called? Culture Map. Okay. By Eric Erin. Okay, cool. So yeah, I will try to remember this. Okay, and that one is probably the story that most of you have better one. Like the amounts that client burned there is not so big in comparison of many stories about the cloud that I heard, but well, that is mine that I can tell you about, and it's quite recent. So there was CTO of that's the same pharma company that I told you so. So there was CTO. He was managing the whole setuping the cloud and stuff like that. At some point, he left the company, but they didn't change the email of the person to be contacted if anything is happening, for example, with the pricing or stuff like that. And as soon as the Postgres was outdated due to AWS principles, they sent him email that now they are charging them 10,000 euros monthly because the Postgres is too old. I mean, it's not too old, they are still maintaining it, but now we are charging you for it because you don't read emails. So after 1 year, someone noticed the strange transfers from account and started asking questions. It took like 2 hours to identify the problem and fix it. But yeah, 100 euros were burned out because we used cloud without thinking exactly what can go wrong. By the way, cool pricing. So there are a few lessons about us not thinking about money too often, but I think we are getting better about it. Even Wojtek's presentation was touching the topic at least, and not only his, but I think we are doing that much more often at school, but still we need to remind that for younger generation and for ourselves. I strongly believe that there is a possibility that sometimes if we can save some money, maybe part of that money will go to us, but probably that's wishful thinking until we are product owner or stuff like that. But yeah, still, I think it's worth to be proactive, ask about how exactly our code is giving us some income, what part of code brings the value, but also what costs us the more. Because I know we know that, I don't know, I won't write too many tests about contact form. It doesn't bring too much value. Well, maybe it does. But still, you know, if we're thinking about costs and income, I mean, cost of writing code and income from that code, I think we are in the good place. But we are thinking about how much some parts of our code costs us later. Maybe there is more room to improvement. Yeah, I think documenting the whole infrastructure there by the former CTO could be better, so people would know that there is his email there, but that's not so easy to say, but and yeah, I think if there is at least one person who didn't saw the latest DHH keynote about moving from cloud, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, maybe other ideas. I mean, if it comes to that area, I'm sure that I could pass the mic, and for next 10 hours we would have many similar or even funnier stories. Yeah. Right, maybe let's raise hand who don't have that kind of story. Yes, your hands. Okay. Okay, so integrations and estimations of integrations. Again, insurance agency company, my lovely company. So they asked us to integrate with some insurance company API. They gave us their documentation. There was something that you probably the older folks will know, which is SOAP protocol. Who used SOAP protocol? Yeah, so you know how lovely it is. But we happily estimated it to, I believe, 160 hours. 700 hours later, we were quite annoyed that nothing works as intended in documentation. But we were quite annoyed that client probably won't pay us at all if we won't finish it. And I'm not sure if, and I'm always with him, I wasn't sure if he will pay if I will finish it. But like, not sure how you say in English, but it was too much when for 2 weeks straight we were getting the response from API that something went wrong with our file, XML file, because you sent XML files through SOAP. And we were asking them what exactly is wrong. They were trying to give us some hints. But after 2 weeks, someone replied us, guys, you know, because you send that file for one server, but the other server after that server is transforming that file and giving the response to the server that is that you are talking with. And the second one is not working for 2 weeks. No one told you? Yeah. So every time when I got question about how much it will cost and integration is involved, I'm quite scary. And I'm trying to explain that I can estimate everything that you want, but not the integrations, because it's not on me. It's first on you to be sure that you and your API vendor are on the same page, that you are sure that the documentation is fine. Maybe check if other people are already integrated with him, like other businesses, not exactly developers, but businesses, to see how the cooperation looks like in the terms of, I don't know, SLA or whatever. If it comes to estimations, I know that at the beginning it's really hard to make clients to agree to time and material, but maybe it's good to tell him, okay, let's do the other work on fixed price. You will see how we work, how we are transparent and stuff like that. And then we will do the integration but on time material agreement, because in other way someone will overpay for what we are doing. Yeah, and checking if API vendor have some SLA, I don't know how to call it in English, SLA, yeah, maybe, is if they feel responsible for what they are doing, for updating documentation, or they don't care about it, they say deal with it, it's our API now. Yeah, investigate if API errors are clear and you can deal with them. And yeah, don't agree on just following orders. If someone will tell you estimate integrating with that API, don't be so sure that it's a good idea to accept it, because you will be blamed at the end, probably. Okay, that is the last one, and the quick one. So once we were inheriting some project and firstly doing some code review, and I found that non-model service object or whatever we found had like unhappy path. Like there were no way to, no one is catching any errors, checking if, I don't know, validation went wrong or whatever. So I asked the main developer of that application how you handle errors. And he told me, our code is so good that we don't have errors. And that was it. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. So I will just give you my the favorite one, because, yeah, it's my favorite one. So we got some reference to Norwegian clients. So of course we were excited because, you know, Norwegian money is probably should be big. But they had, for the starters, they have a really small application for some old like magazine. I don't know, 5 employees of that magazine is using that are using that application. They are mainly maintaining it for many years. They want to have some small feature, but they asked to estimate it and give them some fixed price. So okay, I took a look on the project. It wasn't big, but it was like, I don't know, Ruby 1, Rails 2 or whatever. So I told them that I won't touch it before like upgrading the version to, I don't know, something stable. I gave them rough estimation for, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks, because it was a big upgrade, but the application wasn't big. But of course they didn't have budget for that application, so they rejected it. Day later, after they rejected it, they are calling me why I broke the application. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't touch the production, I only reviewed the code. And what happened? Heroku, RLB Heroku, updated the minimum CentOS version that was somehow related to minimum Ruby that they can run, and the whole application blew up. And I sent them change logs, articles, whatever I could find about it to prove that I didn't broke it, that Heroku just, that is fucking coincidence, that it happened day after they rejected my estimation. But guess what? They never called me back, and my favorite slide and quote from my favorite TV series is the lesson that I get from that one. So yeah, I think that's it. And last thing before any questions or thoughts, I just wanted to remind you that there are 2 supporters, and 2 of those are organizers, so we don't care about them, but I think we should make big, I don't mean applause now or shout now. If you can remember or write some to-do to, I don't know, send a message somewhere that they are basically oh yeah, I know what I wanted to say. I have a fun story about that one, because when I asked them to be a supporter of the conference, Stas asked me about a few things like what they can get and stuff like that. So I told them what they can get: 1 post on Twitter, logo here, like on the page, and yeah, and that's it. 1 ticket. And he asked me, can we at least have roll-up? And I told them, of course not. And he told me, okay, where to send money? So I think we should appreciate it, especially knowing how many companies there are and are not so willing to support community right now. And I think you should talk with your boss or whatever to support community more, your local meetups, conferences or whatever. Because after COVID, I feel like communities are slowly getting smaller, and it's bad. Because during the community meetups, we can hear fuck-up stories. And yeah, that's me. If you have any thoughts, that would be cool. But if not, yeah, I'm aware I'm replacement with soft talk, so yeah, I get it.
Any questions? We did questions in between, right? Okay, so I have one question, but that's not for you, that's for audience. Was it bad or was it decent? So it was great. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. One last thing. If anyone would love to join us on a sailing trip, like Nerds on Lakes, contact me. We are always happy to meet new people and talk about some more fuck-ups. Thank you.
Thank you.